The Purpose of Punishment by Nicholas Krekulik. Law and Society Final. There are 5 purposes of punishment: rehabilitation, restitution, incapacitation, deterrence, and retribution. Rehabilitation is when you try and treat and reform the lawbreaker. Try and turn the wrongdoer into a productive member in society instead of a criminal. Today we try and rehabilitate prisoners by giving them an education while they're in jail, as well as helping them with a drug addiction or something along those lines. Restitution is when the offender repays the victim or community in money or services. However, there are problems that occur with this, such as critics say money can't repay the harm or violence they may have caused. One example of restitution could be bail. Next, we have incapacitation. Incapacitation is when you isolate the criminal from society. An example could be putting someone in a prison for life for convicting of crimes such as murder or rape. Deterrence. Deterrence is using questions that hope to deter or make the criminal feel bad, thus preventing future crimes. If you've ever seen the show To Catch a Criminal, they use deterrence a lot, and although it may not help the criminal for a long time, they help them realize that what they're doing is wrong, so hopefully they don't do it again. Retribution is when some form of retaliation is brought to the offender. Hammurabi used this way back when, and it was called the Code of Hammurabi, aka eye for an eye. I think that rehabilitation and incapacitation are the two best, because rehabilitation can help someone get through a drug issue, and now since we're starting to think about giving criminals an education so they don't commit crimes anymore, I feel like that could work pretty well. On the other hand, if they're accused of murder or some really bad crime, they should just be separated from society for a really long time. That way they don't, commit future crimes. Incapacitation over the years has given the U.S. kind of a little bit of problems. Over the years, there have been a lot more crimes. Year after year, more people are getting arrested, sent to jail for murder, rape, all these really harsh crimes. So with this, should the U.S. make more prisons? Since in the next decade there will be 360,000 new prisoners in the U.S., should people get sentenced to prison for possession of marijuana? Is that taking up too much space in prisons? Should they just be sent to rehab, or what should we do with them? There's a lot of problems being faced in prisons, and I don't know. Should we make more? Is it better to put criminals in rehab because they won't harm society when they get out? Punishment doesn't solve anything. It makes people more angry and violent. People learn from example. They should be treated with respect rather than be violent in prison. So what I'm saying is incapacitation is pretty much a bad thing. We should go with the decision of rehab. In the end, violence makes people more angry. People will be more angry when they get out of jail, and they may commit more crimes when they get out. Mark, what are your thoughts on incapacitation?
I think it's good and bad. It works most of the time. Some people, they do learn their lesson when they go to prison, and some other people, they don't learn their lesson and they just commit the same crime once they get out.
So, Mitch, what are your thoughts on incapacitation?
Well, I feel that if someone does something wrong, I don't want them really in my community. I think they need to go away for a while, take a little time out, and, collect their thoughts in a prison.
You sure you're going to be able to hear that?
So, what are your thoughts on incapacitation?
I think incapacitation is effective because it removes the criminal from society, so it prevents them from preventing another crime. And, it's also good because although it may not help the person, because some people don't realize what they did is wrong and they'll keep offending, but it removes them from society, so they won't do anything bad again.